Boys and girls, Alex here. For those of you that might have suffered through my previous video of fences for my dogs on my workbench, or low profile fences for my dogs on the workbench, this is sort of a follow-up on how to secure a piece of timber or smallish timber to those fences. I'll put the fence on and put a timber to it. And by the way, for all it's worth, I know I'm deviating. I went out and I bought some new dogs, and I saw these little plugs for the for your MFT style fences. Look, to be honest with you, they're not cheap. They are but they are quite cute. They are, when I say not cheap, they do reduce if you buy them in bulk, which is what I did. And if you want to know how much they are, then you're probably not interested in them. However, they are magnetised, so you can then take them out using a magnet. I used to use these little wooden plugs, which actually, well, you know, they're cheap for a start, although the plug cutter wasn't. But the problem is, to get it out, you either have to push it through, or get under and poke it out, or push it through. Now, if you happen to have an enclosed box for your MFT tabletop, you're not going to get them, you won't be able to poke it out, and you're not going to get under it. So I found these ideal. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. One of the things I wanted to do is, how do I lock that? Well, the first thing that I came up with was a wedge, which I thought, oh, beauty, because bear in mind that depending on the width of the timber, you either have to put your stop there or the next one, which basically means, like, if you can't get something in there like that, then you've got to put your dog down here. So basically the maximum coverage you need is effectively 98 mil, because that's the distance between the dogs. Anyway, I came up with this. I thought, oh, great. Push it in and you get a little hammer, tap, tap. The only problem is, as soon as you move that sideways, that dislodges. I thought, I'm smarter than that. I made a couple of wedges on my laser, and initially I only went for 1 mil deep teeth. And I thought, well, the beauty of it is you can put two together and then whack them, and with the teeth, they're probably not going to slide, or less like, well, they won't slide because they're wedged together. However, because they're wedged together, you can't whack them. So the idea was to get a cam, whereby I can tighten that up. Look, let's put it this way, and tighten that up, and hey, I'm wrapped. It doesn't move. The only problem is that because you want to allow distances, if you suddenly get into a spot like that, you've got that bit, and straight away you're minimizing the width you can have, because you can only maybe clamp that there. So to me, no, that wasn't going to work. So what I came up with was a option, again still sticking with these cams. I came up with something like this, whereby you can then push that, and then cam that locked. Okay, let's clear some of this these plugs out of the way. Put them over there. Now, as you can see, that's built out with 6mm MDF, 3mm to hold it together, and under that you can have your cam. Now, the cam can be put in either way. You can either go straight through, which I have done, or you can actually just put it under that, depending on which way you go. Doesn't really matter. Let's go this way. Hold this in place. You only need theoretically 2 locks, although there's 4 there. Push it across, push that up. As you're pulling that down, that pushes that stick up, but when you pull that back, as you can see, it kind of comes undone. Whoa. Let's try that again. Kind of comes uneasy too much. Then I thought to myself, well, maybe 2 cams might do better. So, and again, if I went the other way, see, bear in mind that what I was doing, I know this is getting all bloody ridiculous, what I was doing is I was actually pushing that up, so coming down. But if I now went the other way and decided to pull it down, like this way, that is now pulling that down. However, if I push that hard to stop this pulling it back, then when I go this way, it won't move. And I thought, well, that's cool. However, I don't know, I wasn't just happy with this single cam. And I thought, bugger it, let's go a double cam. So, I came up with, version 2, that's version 1. Version 2, much the same, except it's now got positions for both cams. So, slap that into place, lock it down. I still use the same cam. The cam, by the way, I downloaded off the internet and, well, was downloaded from the internet. I actually got the final design or the diagram of a chap called Ross Lady from Craftesian. Anyway, the whole idea was that you can then, and I've got 2, I now use two of these cams. Where's the other one? Found it. I've actually engraved on there, there's a zig there. I'll show you about that later. So the V2, with that being faced up, that's the orientation of them. You slip them in, and where's another one of these? Slip it in, and you have to then click it. The problem is that as you're locking it, you're tending to pull this back down this way. But because of the 2 cams, you're squeezing it together, you're not necessarily forcing it down that much. But the problem with that is, you've got to apply pressure here to stop this being pulled back. But once you've done that, that's now solid. It won't come back because as you're pushing back on it, you're locking the cams. And that's actually, oh no, that didn't hold too well. Hang on. There, it's holding it in, as I said, quite well. But I really wasn't, again, I wasn't happy with that because as you're pushing that up, you're still tending to pull that back down. So you've got to keep force against this part, and often what I have done is got a piece of wood, slapped it against there and pushed against that to stop us from You know, it is actually coming back down again. Oh, come on. Push that down. And as I said, that did work. However, again, I wasn't too happy with that. So I came up with version 3, but this time I thought, bugger it, I'll go with that zigzag concept to stop us from moving. So, here we are. However, having said that, what I have done is I've made 3 different zigzags just so you can extend the reach so much more. Ideally you only need 1, ideally, but the point is, as you're getting near the end, you're looking at flimsy support. However, bear in mind that that's not too bad, because the thing there is going to squeeze in on that, so that's going to stop the lateral movement. Anyway, the way to do it is you line this up, put your thing in there, and then that goes on. However, I wasn't too happy initially with these poopsie arms, so I came up with this bigger one, and as I said, you can actually pick whatever size you want depending on how distant you are. Although bear in mind, theoretically you shouldn't have more than 98mm between the dogs. That is going to ensure you're going to have sufficient clearance so you can actually not have, you're not working over, well, it's far enough away from that, put it that way. That's the whole idea. The way to do this is you lock the cams into place, you pick the zigzag setting. Oops, where's the other cam? Zigzag setting. Then you drag this down until it basically touches your cam. Then you get a zigzag and you fit it in as close to that as possible. Here we are. Now that you've got that there, this little unit should fit over the top. And it's as simple as that. Then, just a case of pushing down on these 2, and there you have it. Now bear in mind, what you can do is lock these down with these TSO lock dogs, so you don't have this lifting up, because that's now held down, so that's not going to lift up on that. You'll notice that this hasn't touched, but it's as simple as that. So if you then have a different sized bit of timber, let's see what can we have that's, no, the trip, that's about the same size. God, come on, hang on, I'll go and find something different. This will do. Let's just say you've got this. You want to hold that against it. All right, then the next thing you do is, I don't know whether you can. No, you won't get away with that. So again, that goes to that. Although bear in mind, for something like that, you'd probably use a bigger, beefier thing. That, although no, that's still too high. There you have it. Move that across. Slap that there. No, I could have moved the. I'll bring that down. Move that up a notch. There we go. Oh, yeah, look, this all seems like super complex and crazy, but it's a way of holding it down. And bear in mind, we're talking about small pieces, which are quite delicate. There you are. You'll notice this is now pushing that up. As I said, if you've got that held down, you wouldn't have that, but there you are. That's now held in place, and again, if it's a small piece, you can then, at least, naturally you wouldn't have this, you'd have it set up down here. This is more so I can get it in view for the camera, which reminds me, can you see it? Yeah, you can just see the bottom of it. But yeah, you can see it in action, and that's how it basically works. And then to release it naturally, undo that, and take it out. Now, for all it's worth, hang on, let's get there. You might notice, or probably you haven't noticed, but there's this little notch on the end of that. That's really so you can then hold non-square or angled timber. Now, what's the best way? Oh, look, I'll use this. No, I'll use a big one because, again, you get more teeth into it. But the whole idea is that now pivots around that thing. I've got no idea whether this is going to work or not. But we'll find out in a second. Come on. Here we go. Holy shit, that works. Oh, I'm actually quite impressed with that. There you are. Look, all I can say is that for all it's worth, the plans are available. Now, you'll notice that I wanted to sort of say that this is now done on the laser, and naturally it's shit easy cutting these zigzags. Now, you can actually cut it on the scroll saw. The best way to do it is, rather than get it on the scroll saw and go zig, zag and zig and move it around until you get all your zigzags, my suggestion is you just cut it straight, put a template on it of either print it out on sticky paper or glue it to it or whatever, and then just go to the jigsaw blade, zip to the point. Then the next, well, if you get, I hope you get what I mean. The blade's there, you push it in, pull it back, push it in the other side till you get the point. Now, the thing about this is, it doesn't have to be a perfect 100. Where's the other one? I should have another one of these. Just a quick diversion over to the scroll saw. I've printed off the pattern for just a slider so far on a bit of paper, stuck it to it with some whatever the hell sticking stuff or paper sticker I did, and look, I'll give it a quick cut to see pardon me, how it works, or how easy it seems to work. 6mm MDF, which is what I had, the same pattern. Look, I'll put the magnifying glasses on so I don't have to wear all the shit. Now, whether I should use no, I don't think so. Alright, look, I'll give it a try and see what happens. Oops. Bit of air assist would help. As you can see, I'm not a great advocate of the scroll saw. As they all say, I'm trying, very trying. Okay, look, that'll do. I'm not going to go overboard. I said it's just a proof of concept. That'll have to do. Oh, didn't go all the way through. Hell, why didn't it go all the way through? Come on. Surely it's... Alright, hang on for a sec. Come back, I've got my file, corner file. I'll see if this... Oh yeah. I don't know why it hasn't cut through the bottom. Now, well, there you go. I've got the zigzag. Look, I'm unprepared. Hang on for a sec. I'll go and get something else. I went and got one of the other laser cut middle pieces. I also cut the tip off that because I didn't extend the zigzag all the way, so I could then mesh them together. And as you can see, they mesh pretty well. So I see no reason why, if you cut it out on the scroll saw, you can't get that zigzag effect. And look, even if they don't, as I say before, lock properly, they will lock together. So, look, I will never use a scroll saw for this because, hell, I've got the laser. But if you don't have the laser, the scroll saw is the ideal way. And then the beauty of it is, with the scroll saw you can cut a hell of a lot thicker than I can with my laser. Alright, back to the normal stream. Here we go. I found the other one. It doesn't have to be a perfect match, because as long as some part of the teeth, as long as the tip of the teeth is wider than the gullet, I suppose, which is the best way to describe it. As long as the tip fits into the gullet, even if it's not a perfect sealing, it'll eventually lock so it won't move. As I say, because that is restrained by the edges of that, so that can't open up and slip. And that's quite, well, I won't say easily done on a scroll saw. It'll be laborious, because you've got to, especially when you look at how many there is, it's zip, 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 zip. But it's easy, repetitive. Now again, bear in mind that you all might say, what a load of shit. But you've got to appreciate that when you're looking at small, thin stock, and you're trying to hold that down, so you can actually work on the surface, that is not going to help you. These little things aren't going to help you. You can get out your hold fast, slap it in, hold it down, but then straight away you've got something holding the top. You can get these clamps and hold them, hold them down, but they're obtrusive. The whole concept is to be able to hold a piece of timber, thinnish timber, and again, in my setup scenario, unfortunately, I'm limited to 9mm. Anything, 9mm and over. Well, preferably 9.5mm and over. However, having said that, I could probably make that 3mm, so I could make it 6mm, and because 3mm MDF probably isn't as robust as a 6mm, I probably could cut this out of perspex on the laser anyway, which would make it just that little bit more robust, I think, less likely to break. But that's it. I think I've wasted enough of your time. Look, the whole idea is that it might give somebody an idea. As I say, I've tried a few different scenarios, and I found that this zigzag happened to be the best way. The other thing too I should add to this is that the teeth, the gaps in the teeth, have to be less than the amount of movement the cam will exert. Now, I don't have too much movement here. I think the limit of my cam, hang on, let's try it out. If I get rid of that, we're looking at there. That's a full extent. So if I then bring this back, as you can see, it's not really that much, you know, not as much as I'd love. However, having said that, if I, what do you call it, don't have these here, or had it, I couldn't make it too much narrower because otherwise I'd lose strength there. I need a bit of beef. Now bear in mind, because these are being held together like that, there's no forces acting on there, they're acting on here through there. So I can get away with that, but I couldn't do much more. I could maybe cut that off there. Yeah, I probably could. I could probably cut that there, so I could bring the, but even then, once you start getting these two cams together, you're not going to get too far. So the other alternative is, I suppose, I could maybe go this way. Yeah, maybe I could. I never thought of it. If I go this way, how much more movement will I get? Not much more. So we're only looking at a few mil, but those few mil have to be that you move with the cam. And again, once the cam takes over, it's not like you're exerting extreme pressure. Look, for anybody that bothered to watch this, you know, I hope it's given you ideas, but I suppose for a lot of you, you'll probably think, oh hell, I couldn't be bothered going through all that sort of shit. But again, it's something for food for thought. You know, as I say, if you want to hold small pieces, again, don't get me wrong. With me, I could probably use this on my air cups, my Grabo or my Festool Vaxis. So this is just another option for people that haven't got it, and another option for me to use. Alright boys and girls, that's it. Uru, and keep safe.